Hello friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. It is a rainy day here at the very end of October, quite chilly. So Jerry and I decided that we are going to do just kind of an update on all the things that are happening here at Creekside, the nursery, because this has been an interesting year of as far as machinery goes. It seems like we've had some challenges this year on machinery and things that have not gone as they should have. So we've got some things to talk about that and just lots of other fun things happening around the nursery.
Yeah, fun stuff going on. Getting ready for spring 2026, so it's really exciting. Yeah, just replaced the dishwasher.
We were gonna, what?
Unknown call.
See, and then his phone goes off. His phone constantly goes off, my friends. And so, yet literally we were going to do this video about 45 minutes, an hour ago. And we got the phone call that they were coming to bring the new dishwasher because it decided to kaputzed at the end of last week, and so they were able to come today and change it. So this is what we're talking about. It is like you go through these seasons and it's like everything is breaking. And because we've talked about this before, I don't know, 2 months ago, something about like with our big machinery that it was not behaving correctly. And so Jerry remedied that.
Yeah, we've got two new pieces of equipment. We've got the Cat 304 and a Cat 265 for the skid steer. So 304 is the excavator, the 265 is the skid steer.
Yes.
Yeah, the little track loader.
Yes.
Yep.
So we left Bobcat behind and turned to Carolina Cat and have now gone from white and orange to a nice tan. And so it's been in some videos recently, but we hadn't really talked about it. The person who is probably most excited about these two new additions, if you know our family, who is it? That's right. It is Jackson. He is very, very excited about the new pieces of equipment.
Yeah, he's probably used them a good bit more. You know, we're just kind of trying to get them through their ropes right now. Lots of movement and that kind of thing, making sure everything's. It's still, you know, the machines have been made by hand.
Right.
It can be loose hydraulics or this or that.
Because in fact, I think he's supposed to come today, the technician.
Yes, supposedly so, yes.
Supposedly so, because with the skid steer.
Yeah, skid steer, something with
The coolant.
The coolant. So it doesn't sound like a big deal or anything. So we're just.
It's all under warranty.
Yeah.
We are good. So there's that change. So you'll see that. And then this lovely piece of equipment behind us. Dear heavens, y'all. So you were with us. We actually took you along for the ride when we went down to
Alabama.
South Alabama to what, Sims, Alabama.
Sims, Alabama.
I mean, it was a trip. And so we went to go pick this up. This company has since gone out of business, which is fun. And so when the machine breaks down, you're kind of left in a lurch because that company's not there. Another company has kind of like taken on some of it, but
they've taken it on. They bought some patents. They didn't really buy the company, of course, because since he went out of business, they've got some of the info, which brings us to their description of our video today. And then in a few minutes, I think we're going to talk about some plants and whatnot. But, you know, this machine, you know, when we bought it, we were doing like a lot of 3-gallon stuff, and we have to have a program inside the machine to be able to make it be able to drill a 3-gallon pot and stop the conveyor, right? But for the most part, we're always, you know, flat filling.
Right, so just filling up the pots.
There are machines called flat fillers, and they're simple machines that have, you know, buttons like this over here and that kind of thing, but a lot of that stuff still works. But what went down, I don't know if we want to, do we want to move the camera so they can see a little bit better? Yeah, so, you know, this machine has several different things on it, which are controlled by different drives or different frequency drives, which, you know, which all these, like the drill auger, the soil chain, and the takeoff conveyor, these are all, and the little speeds are all controlled by frequency drives. But when you turn this on like I did, the screen no longer works. So it's just not a simple You would think that, you know, you could just order a new little monitor, kind of like your TV or something like that, and you could just plug it up, and it would just like the program would run on it. No. So, as you can see, the back end of it's got power, and it has an Ethernet cord, so that plugs into this thing. These are called HDMI or HID screens, or they actually have some smarts to them. So since Mr. Ellis is no longer in business, it's just not a simple call down and talk to the programmer, get your screen programmed. So the company that took over for Ellis in these type of situations, we're all trying to guess what program needs to go on this screen. And by taking pictures of the motors, we have encoders, we have frequency drive motors, we have gosh, I forget the name of that one, but that's the one that's the problem.
So basically, it's like your computer. And so your computer needs a software, and we don't know, nobody knows what software belongs in here to make the thing work.
Yeah, so this beige unit is these are the smarts of this machine. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, this one here is the Ethernet cord is going to this screen, which is powering and allowing this software to work, but they have to be able to talk to one another, and it does not have the software on it. So that supposedly it's on its way. We think we have figured it out, and we're hoping that we're just going to plug and play, and that everything is going to work, because you cannot. And we've talked to people. I'm sure there might be a viewer out there that, Jerry, just, you know, put some more frequency drives on there, and to get this is an encoder motor. So it's being told what to do by that computer. That's what all this is right here. Okay, so this motor is what powers the conveyor right here, and it will not come on without the screen. Okay?
And that's a very important part, because the conveyor, right? So remember, the soil falls down, you put your pots right here, they go through. So if this conveyor doesn't go on, like...
Yeah, see, this it'll drop soil like no problem.
Yeah. So then you would be like manually shoving pots through, which is not like, no.
So that's how this works. It's the program. You can put programs in. If you were drilling a pot, then it changes the conveyor from just like running to stopping and allowing this drill, because here's another motor with an encoder smart on it, and which allows for this drill to come down and drill the pot, which we don't really use anymore. So there may be somebody out there that has one of these, and they're willing to, we may look at selling it, just because we don't use...
We got a really good deal on a pot machine if you want one.
Yeah. So, you know, if specifically because we don't do the 3-gallon anymore, and it would just be easier for us now to go to more of a flat filler option. I think it would be faster, more efficient. It's got more little trinkets on it than just a brush and that kind of thing. So it may be something we do down the road, but we're kind of in a weird spot right now, because it's basically November. We'll probably start potting some perennials in December, you know, and January comes and it's on. Like we're potting every week. You know, so
and then the thing is too, is like trying to, when you talked to one of the manufacturers, they said, I have a flat filler.
Oh, it was ready to go.
It was ready to go, and they could send it out like right away.
Yeah.
Of course, it comes with a lovely price tag. But if you wait and they have to make one, it's at a minimum a 12-week delay. And that's not just for them, that's for other companies as well. So it is not like you can just run to Walmart and pick another one of these things up.
So we're just hoping when the monitor screen, whatever you want to call this thing, half computer screen, you know, gets here, that it's going to work, and then we'll be in good shape. And then we can kind of limp through this season. We were going to go to switches, you know, and we were just going to change this all to frequency drive switches, and kind of put them up here just to turn the conveyor on, but we can't do that because of the type of motor this is. We'd have to change out this entire motor. So then you're getting into thousands of dollars and you're piecemealing a machine that, you know, we're going to have special people to find to work on it, and you don't have a manufacturer to support you any longer. So that's where it's kind of a weird spot to be in. But this is all going to go away. Because I just can't take it anymore.
I told Jerry, I said, we're going to get a bunch of Creekside stickers, and we're just going to like hide the name. It's going to be the Creekside potting machine, so we're just going to do that.
So speaking of, you know, potting and getting so busy to ready to roll, I think we've got some questions, because there was a few people had some questions about the pre-order that we want to answer, and we want to kind of talk about that just a little bit, because it's very important right now. This is pre-ordered for 2026, which you order now. All the Proven Winner annuals that are available to purchase right now are, you know, at the same price as 2025, and the shipping threshold is being held the same. It's all going to change, likelihood, sometime in November. Okay. So yeah.
Let's answer some of their questions.
Let's answer the questions, because there were some really cool questions about some pre-orders.
Yep. All right. So we have some questions about the pre-order, and the first one I don't have a screenshot of the question because I believe it was on Facebook and I couldn't find it. So, but basically there was a viewer that was confused, and she said, I just cannot understand. I don't get how the pre-order works. So I'm just not going to do it. I just give up. And so basically, in a nutshell, right, what we're doing is right now, all of the annuals are set as a pre-order. Mm-hmm. There is, I think, are there any perennials that are pre-orders?
Not yet.
They're just, okay. So we're really focusing on annuals. So what we're doing is we are trying to help you, and honestly help us, plan for a fantastic season in 2026. So we are pre-selling the annuals that we will then ship to you in the spring of 2026. So why is this beneficial for you and for us, and what is it? So basically what you're going to do is you're going to kind of go ahead and think and imagine what you want to put in your garden in 2026. What annuals do you want to use in your garden? You then go to the website, search for, let's say it's Super Petunia Mini Vista Plum Vein, one of my favorite new petunias, right? And you know that you're going to do this in an area and you want to use that. So you go, and let's say you want to do a whole flat of them. You want to do 10. So you make 10 go into the quantity, and then you hit, it'll say pre-order. You hit that, and it's going to put it into your cart. Go ahead and shop for the rest of your annuals. When you check out, it's going to say, you know, this is a pre-order. We are not going to ship you these plants until it is an appropriate growing time in your zone. So after your last frost is when we are going to send them to you. So why is this good for you? Well, one, it's good for you because you lock in those plants. You don't have to worry about us selling out of those plants. You're guaranteed to get those plants, all things considered, as long as there's nothing catastrophic that happens, right?
Right. It is plants. It is not a t-shirt.
Right.
So there are things that can happen in Costa Rica. There's things that can happen once it gets to, you know, Pleasant View or 4-star, you know, to get rooted. There's things that can happen to it when it gets here, and sometimes those plants just die, you know, and then it is, but it's very, very rare.
It is very rare. And if
rare.
that happens, what we will do is our customer service team will contact you and say, hey, listen, Mini Vista Plum Vein, there was a crop loss, whether it was here or any of the other nurseries before us. This would be a great substitute. Do you want to substitute? So we will work with you, y'all. But I'm just saying,
it does help a lot for those that do procrastinate down the road. It does allow us to kind of get a better, I guess you can only imagine how and Jenny and I would try to come up with a number of Mini Vista Whites and Mini Vista Bubblegum and Jazzberry. How many are we going to order? How many are we going to produce for 2026? The pre-order helps in that. We can kind of see how it's going on certain plants, and then we can load those as best as we can from now, and it starts to get a little
iffy once we get past the first of the year into February. It starts to get harder
for us to get the plants.
So that's why right now we started it earlier this year, because we thought you might enjoy trying to plan your garden out in October, thinking about what you just had, because we find it to be easier.
Right, and we literally had a customer at the garden center, one of our sweet, faithful customers at the garden center on Saturday, and she had just gone and placed, I think like the night before, had placed her pre-order for her annuals. Y'all, this woman is a garden, like she's local. She can come to the garden center and buy her plants, but she finds it so mentally free. She was like, I feel so good because I got my order in. I got all my garden planned, and the plants are ordered, and now I don't have to worry about it. So it helps you, it helps us, because we can project, oh my gosh, this plant is selling like hotcakes. We need to get more, and we can put it on the website. So that, and then that's how it works.
It helps fill up the greenhouse.
Yes, because
pretty soon.
Y'all know this greenhouse will,
it's empty.
You will not be able to walk in this greenhouse. It is empty right now. But yeah, okay. So I thought this was an interesting question. So Megan asked if the lemon coral sedum is a perennial for us. So of course we're North Carolina, a zone 8A, and it typically is, but it also depends on our winter. So that's the thing about, there's quite a few of the annuals that are sold as annuals, like lemon coral sedum, the guara. There's certain salvias that are sold as annuals, but depending on your growing zone, the warmer ones, they will be perennials for you. So if you're interested in some of those annuals and you're not quite sure if it's a perennial or an annual, look at the growing zone, because all that information is on the website. And yeah, so that's just, it's really quite interesting how some of those annuals will work.
Yep.
And then Diane said, it was on a video when we were talking about some annuals, and she said, beautiful, but for the cost effective, is there an annual that will thrive from spring to fall? I've struggled with my petunias at summer, and now I understand why. And I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. So I think it's also very interesting as gardeners and as consumers of social media, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, whatever it is, that when you're looking at one garden, you can't, let's say that they're in the Midwest versus deep South versus California versus Maine. So all of those gardens can grow the same annual because they're an annual. However, because we all have vastly different climates, some plants struggle or thrive better in other areas. So for example, supertunias. Supertunias do great for us in the spring, early summer.
Yeah, I do think that you're talking about supertunia, for instance, a lot of people, specifically our customers that come to us, they wait too late.
Yes.
You know, wait too late. They think they have to be past this frost and all this, and
No.
you've got to get those in earlier.
Right. So we plant our supertunias mid-April, so they can
If not
take,
earlier.
if
We've
not
done it at
earlier,
the end of
yeah.
March.
But they like the cold, so they can handle a frost, and we've absolutely had them out there. But my point is, when we hit July, even though we've planted them early, they can really struggle with our heat and humidity. And so we have pulled out supertunias out of the signature garden in July because they don't look good, and it is a signature garden. So your question is a great question. So what annuals will go through the whole entire season?
Same zone as ours, right?
Same zone as ours. She's in Raleigh. So this is for those southern people, because this is what I'm talking about. So my suggestion is, and this I'm doing categories because any plants within those categories will work. So lantana, fantastic. Your salvias, your coleus, your grasses, the lemon coral sedum, your sun patience. Sun patients are fantastic.
We've got to get a load of sun patients coming in. Some exciting stuff about that coming up.
I would say portulaca,
Yeah,
blew my
portulaca.
mind, evolvulus. So there definitely are plants that begonias, get begonias, people.
Begonias,
Whether it's surefire, the double up, if you have shade, you can do that
Yeah.
dragon wing.
Yeah.
So there's lots of options. And so there you go. Anything you want to add to that?
No. I
No?
don't think so. I mean, even the seasonal lemon coral is there. It's not going anywhere.
No,
I mean,
mine right
think
now
about-
is to die for.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Going
the sun
around.
patients that you've been having hanging out at the garden center are still rocking.
Yep.
So we've got a lantana out there in the berm.
Yep.
I mean, it's still
Beautiful.
here. It is November, basically. You
Yep.
know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you're getting the bang for your buck.
And I would say also with the dahlias, so dahlias too, also
Millionaire.
Vermillionaire. Dahlias prefer the cooler temperatures, so they do really well and flower really well in the spring, early summer. They take a break in the heat of the summer, like they'll flower, but it's not spectacular. But come the cooler temperatures of October into November,
Yeah.
they're fantastic. All right. And then Fran says, I just put in my huge pre-order of annuals. I was wondering why the white guar was not available for pre-order. I pre-ordered the pink, but couldn't pre-order the white one. Thanks. Can't wait to get all my pre-orders to my gardening journal so I don't forget what I ordered. Amen, sister. It'll be like Christmas, the end of April when my order arrives. Loves you guys. So the reason that I read Fran's question is because that was just a simple oversight on our part. The white guar is now back on the website, but if there is something, there is an annual, there's a perennial, something that you would love for us to carry, please let us know. Put it in the comments below, because we have gotten some of the best plant ideas from our customers and viewers. So if we're missing something on the website and you're like, oh, I would really love for you to do this, put it in the comments, because we've got plenty of time that we can then add it to the website.
Yeah, that helps. That's why we launched pre-order, and it just helps kind of figure some things out, because we're not always perfect on there getting everything loaded up.
No. All right, my friends. So listen, we're going to hop off of here because I hear a car coming. We have a meeting for a very fun, exciting project that we are going to let you know about and when the time is appropriate. So we're going to go meet with them. But y'all have a fantastic day. As always, thank you for joining the crazy chaos here at Creekside Nursery. It is never boring for sure. We'll see y'all in the next video. Bye, friends.